Welcome back to Impact Podcast. My name's Jeremy Melton, and I'm your host. Today we've got a guest. This is episode number 12. Our guest today, special guest, honored guest, is Nathan Park. And, of course, we've got Daniel. Maddie is not with us yet. She's going to sit this one out. Me and Daniel are going to get Nathan interviewed up.
Talk to Mr. Nate.
That's right.
My buddy.
Here we go.
We're looking forward to it. So before we do that, last week we discussed one of the mandates. It was servanthood, and so it was real good. We talked about serving people, and we'll do some takeaways from that real quick. D. Brown, you got anything from last week?
Man, I've just been trying to put other people's needs in front of my own as much as possible and just serving. And I'm going to wash somebody's feet. I haven't decided who yet. Somebody's getting a foot bath, so it might be you, Jeremy.
Foot bath. Hey, man, I love it. We talked about that, and, I wish Maddie was here. Maybe she'll text. What she was trying to assimilate, what we could do today to do the same thing. And, lots of things can be said. Do we actually need to wash each other's feet? Probably not. But what would be a similar thing? And I don't really know. Nathan, do you know? Look, Jesus washed their feet. That was his way of serving his disciples, right? But what can we do today? How does that?
It's tricky because you can't just like we talked about, I'm gonna wash your car. I'm gonna clean your house. No, that's not it. There's no.
Same.
There is. I don't know. We're gonna keep pondering, and maybe we can come up with something.
The lifelong, key that I feel in serving, which you've seen it in churches all across the board, good, bad situations. Feed them, man. Cook them dinner.
There you go.
Serve them.
Serve them. Yeah. Hey, that's good, and that's what we need to do, and that's how you grow. At our church, Covenant Park Church, it's breaking bread every week together. There's something to that.
Absolutely.
Having communion every week, I believe, it's the glue. Breaking bread always, you always get more intimate with people when you feed them.
100%. And just on that, just kind of not trying to derail.
No, that's good.
We've been planning with some friends since the end of last year of trying once a month to get together at somebody's house for Sunday lunch. Growing up, it was a big thing, like Sunday lunch after church, Mom was going to cook, and we had our first one scheduled last Sunday for everybody to come to the house afterwards, and man, Danny preached on it. It was awesome.
That's good.
It was good stuff.
That is good. Yeah, eating with people, there's something actually psychologically that happens when you eat with people. Mm-hmm. That's a true thing. That's science, right? But, Jesus did it his whole ministry. He always said, hey, let's go. I want to go to your house and eat. Yeah. And so there was something to that.
We were at that sermon, and my kids all week, this is Jesus' table, or this is Jesus' seat right here.
There you go.
Got a seat at the table.
Got a seat at the table.
Jack's been talking about it all week.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Well, Danny's probably listening to this podcast. He can get credit for that.
Yes, sir.
That's good. All right, cool. My takeaway was the fundamentals of servant leadership were good, but I think my favorite one was, I believe, choosing the ethics over the profit or the gain. And maybe that was there because I've seen the consequences of not doing that, and that's where you really build the trust with your team. And so if you were listening last week, we talked about, if you weren't listening last week, we talked about choosing the right thing over the people, choosing the people over the, gain, right? And so, anyway, good stuff.
Very good. Very good stuff.
All right, let's get started. Nathan Park. Nathan, we've met here just a few weeks ago, and Daniel has invited you to this wonderful podcast, so we get to know you better. You and I went and had lunch, and that was good. And so, we just want to take some time to catch up on the air on the episode. And Daniel and I have some questions. We're going to talk about leadership, and we've got something new to talk about, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. I want to start with that, just because it's relevant to your leadership. And so I would just say that I've been praying for you personally as you embark on your journey. And Daniel, I'll let you introduce it if you want, what he's about to do.
Well, let me just introduce Nathan more from my perspective, my point of view. I've lived right across the street from Mr. Park for going on 2 years. And man, just this guy is that dude that if you need anything, he's there. He's right across the street. Kids are always over there playing together. He always wants to walk across the street, shake hands, have a conversation, check in on me, and see how things are going over at my side of the street. Just a all around genuine good dude, integrity dude. Happy to know him. Lucky to have him as a neighbor. And I guess you're talking about the
run.
The run.
Yeah.
So, and I know Mr. Nate as Mr. President, as he's leaded our community as, the
It's
community
led
our community with as the community association president. And, but now he's taking the next step in his leadership and going to be running for commissioner.
So that's good. Circle back. So I didn't know you were the leader of so you're the president of the HOA.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Mr. Nate, just own it. Just own it.
That's good.
For about another month.
I got you.
Volunteered right after we moved in, and it's been great. I mean, it was honestly, I probably wouldn't have the relationships I have with some of the neighbors not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So it was fun, but it's time for somebody else to do it.
Okay, so you're the leader of the HOA, and now commissioner, running for commissioner.
Running for commissioner.
Okay, so is there an update on that? Who's running against you?
So there were 2 other candidates that qualified, Claudia Crenshaw and Zeke Lambert.
Okay.
Qualifying closed on Friday, so now it's just keeping our feet on the ground and getting to know people.
Interesting.
Seeing if we can push it across the finish line.
Shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah,
Is that what they say?
100%. Yeah.
All right, cool. So what brought about the mission to run? I mean, what do you do full time? Let's do that first.
So I work for an engineering firm out of Duluth, Georgia, Keckenwood. And I mean, my role with them is a consultant for Georgia DOT.
Okay. Do you have a team there of people that you work with?
I do.
Okay.
Not a ton because I'm in the field and work remote.
Okay.
But we do have an outstanding department.
You do something else too.
Volunteer with the City of Madison Fire Department.
Oh, so you're a fireman? All right.
I am.
How long have you been doing that?
7 years.
Wow.
So,
Well, that is the definition of a servant.
That's right.
Right?
That's
so
right.
We've had a fireman on here several weeks back. We had Tyler Parsh on, and actually last week when we talked on servanthood, I echoed some teaching that he had taught me years ago. Really good stuff. The fundamentals of serving, of a servant spirit, servant leadership. And so oftentimes when you get into the public service, whether it be law enforcement, military, fire, you find servant leaders there as you do in the church.
sure.
But so volunteer with the fire department in Madison. All right, that's good. And do you hold any particular rank there? Or you just firefighter?
I'm just firefighter.
Okay. All right. So before we start any questions, that kind of, man, you do a lot of stuff. That's good, right? And you serve, and all those things that you just listed, you're serving. So that's good. So tell us about your family.
All right. So my beautiful wife, who has tolerated me for 15 years now, Courtney, she is a school teacher here at Morgan County Primary School.
She's a servant too.
She is. And then I have my son, Davis, who's 10, and my daughter, Lucy Wren, who is 6 years old.
Lucy Wren?
Lucy Wren.
6. Nice.
Yep.
So two youngins. That's good. So let me just start with this. So and you lived in this neighborhood. How long you been in Buckhead?
So we've been in Buckhead Manor for 5, almost 6 years.
Okay. Nice. And you've been leading the HOA the whole time?
almost 5.
Okay. Cool.
I think I lasted a year before I ran in COVID. So
Okay.
you know,
Man, that was some difficult times, right?
it's good stuff.
Yeah. Were you doing the fire stuff then too?
I was.
Wow. So that was really weird times.
It was.
Uncertain times, right?
Yeah. I mean, you go from, I mean, the strangest with the fire department was, we train on Thursday nights to keep our training hours up. And, I never thought I'd hear like, hey, we got to do our training virtually.
Oh, wow.
So, Thursday nights we were getting on a Zoom call talking about stuff for 2 hours just to keep our training. So yeah, those were very odd times for sure.
Cool. Nathan, how do you personally lead other people right now? Fundamentally, if you had to if you had to answer the question, like, how do you fundamentally lead other people?
Leading with compassion is a big thing I have learned, and that's from a work standpoint. When I first started, as a crew leader years ago, you don't know what that person's going through. We gonna get some ice cream?
Yeah.
Do y'all hear the ice cream truck?
Yeah.
We should go get some.
But you don't know what's going on in a personal life, or if they got a speeding ticket on the way into work, or they're just having an outright bad day. I just feel like leading with compassion is probably one of the most important things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. All right, so on this show, Nathan, we talk about making an impact on the world that we live in. And, leadership is a big part of that, because we feel, at least I teach, that in order to make an impact, you have to lead, right? And so being a commissioner, well, first of all, being a fireman, you're definitely making an impact. But being a commissioner, you're making a pretty big impact.
Right.
And so how do you think that you plan to do that, make an impact? I mean, how are you going to make it better here? How are you going to make it better every day?
You've got to try your best to be transparent and listen to everybody in the district that you're essentially working for. Mm-hmm. You're a pipeline, right? If something's going on countywide, it's your responsibility to relay that to essentially your district that you're representing, for those that care. Mm-hmm. Just being transparent, I think is a huge thing in that role.
Oh, I would agree 100%. I mean, if you're not transparent, people aren't going to trust you in that role for sure.
100%.
I think that's the number one thing that you have to do. You are a liaison, right?
100%.
And you have to take that seriously. And so you intend to do that?
I do.
Yeah. Well, then, is there anything regarding your impact? Is there anything that you're going to specifically do that would kind of leave your legacy a little different than before? And maybe you haven't thought about it yet. It's okay. But maybe this is a time for you to think about that and reflect on what are you going to do that others before you haven't done. And again, don't feel obligated to say it now because all this stuff's kind of rolling. But if you think of something, then by all means.
Just to touch on it a little bit, it's going to be a learning experience too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And at the end of it, yes, I would hope that I make a positive impact and can hear somebody say, you know what, he made some mistakes along the way, but in the end, he got it right.
Well, stay focused on getting it right, and you will get it right. You know, and so I think despite anything that happens during your candidacy or when you get elected, maintain the goal of being transparent and representing the people And then, I mean, you can do a good job.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
Keep the main thing the main thing, bro.
That's right. That's
you know,
right.
and that's what it's all about. So, if I asked you, what is your leadership style? What would you say?
Adaptable.
Okay, adaptable. That's interesting.
That's good.
That is good. That's different. It's good.
Yeah.
So being able to adapt, like no matter what you're given, you feel like you can adapt and bring the best out of that and give it to the people, or
Every situation's different, right? Whether it be leading a 9-10 baseball team, coaching them, you're going to adapt to that. It's totally different than if I'm elected as a county official. You know, I need to adapt to that as well. You've got to be flexible is not the word, but everything's different. It's not the same. So you're going to have to adapt to every situation, whether it be a disgruntled constituent about a pothole or a topic of somebody wanting to put a neighborhood in the district. Each situation is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to be the kind of leader that adapts to that.
My goal.
Yeah, that's your goal.
Yes.
Well, that's a good goal.
So-
Because when you're talking about politics, I mean, that's a different realm.
It is.
Number one, you're elected,
Yep.
and so the people, have to elect you. And then I've always taught you can't make everybody happy, but an elected official has to try.
Yeah.
So that's good. I like that. Adaptable. That's something new we haven't heard on the show.
We have not heard that.
Yeah, but
I like that.
I do too. That's really good, Nathan. Would you say so? I would say that your leadership style has evolved over time, and tell me how. I mean, do you think it's evolved into what it is today?
I do, because again, things have changed, right? Like for me, I guess getting married, you're the head of your household at that point. And then you bring kids into the picture. Like you've got to exemplify your best leadership in raising a child. And then yes, I think, moving forward is, getting on the HOA board or getting a leadership role within my career. It's, it's different. It's, on all different levels.
It's good. So your leadership has to change based on what you're doing. You talked about that, being adaptable. You're raising kids, it's one way. If you're
Coaching a ball team, it's
coaching
another.
a ball team, it's another. That's right. I agree. What would have you had any major life events that you feel like shaped your leadership?
I don't necessarily feel like it's shaped on the lead. So 2010, me and Courtney got married January 16th, 2010. Just got done building a house. October, lost my job. And then December 20th, 2010, we lost our best friend in a car accident. I don't think, that's probably the hardest year we had. Newly married. I don't know where I would tie that into leadership or how it helped, other than not quitting. It was rough, brand new house, lost the job. Main thing then was my main job was to find a job, and also try to make money to support the family. But I mean, in that situation there, like, hey, no quit, don't give up. And in leading anything, like, I do also kind of carry that mentality or weight per se with me. Like, failure's not an option.
Right.
Mistakes will be made, but failure is not an option.
Right.
So
And you don't compromise along the way, right?
Mm-mm.
A leader doesn't compromise. We talked about that last week. But I like that failure's not an option because that's inspiring right there. A lot of people do have a lot. I call it a lot of get up and quit, and that does exist. But you being a leader recognize that that's not acceptable. That's good.
Right. And just touching on that, I started a small business myself, and it was one of those things when it came like to try and hire somebody when we got busy. I struggled right there because if that person made a mistake, it's my fault. Did I not teach them? So, and it's kind of a flaw, but I was better off just working by myself because if I did mess up at the end, guess who I could point a finger at? Me.
Just you.
And that's how I look at anything. I would rather try to fix it myself and fail than, Joe fix it and, well, you didn't do it right.
Well, at least you're being accountable to yourself, and even then, if you are leading someone in a task and they fail, you take responsibility for it. That's ownership.
That's right.
Right, which is what we talk about. That's good. Talk about somebody that has been a major influence in your life, a person that has made you who you are.
Well,
Or two.
My dad,
Okay.
number one, first and foremost. He led. I got a brother and two sisters, and he led that family, and he got it right. He nailed it.
Really?
And I spend every day trying to live up to the family man that he still is.
He's still alive?
He is.
Good.
He is. And the crazy thing I always told Courtney was we didn't hear the word I love you, at bed. Sleep good, I love you. That word wasn't heard a ton, but it didn't have to be.
You knew it.
You knew it.
Wow.
It was there. It was on the dinner table every night when he got home from work. It was him driving from Sandy Springs to the ball field and sitting in a truck for 45 minutes with no AC, waiting on us to get there so he could watch us play ball. It was after dinner if we wanted to be out in the yard practicing. It wasn't, I'm too tired. Nothing along those lines. We did it.
Wow. That's convicting for me, by the way.
Me too, as a whole. Man, it's crazy. Looking back, and we've had the conversations. Dad never went out with his buddies on the weekend on a fishing trip or to the golf course, and it was you kind of looked. It's man, do you not have any friends? This is kind of weird, and that came up in conversation one Thanksgiving, and he was like, I didn't need them, guys. Y'all here. This is it. That's powerful stuff.
Well, what you just said about your dad, I heard you say he nailed it. That's powerful because I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that about their dad. And for you to say that, I'd like to meet that guy.
Yeah.
And then, look, I aspire for that, right? Because, look, I heard someone, I think it was Joe Rogan or someone. Yeah, it was Joe Rogan was doing an interview. And they said, what do you want to be your legacy? And he said, I think you said it too, the first week on the podcast, I want to be known as a good dad. But Joe Rogan said that. I think it might have been, what's the guy that does the wrestling? Dana
White.
Dana White.
Yeah.
I think he's the one that said it. He said, I want to be a good dad. And so, anyway, man, that's strong. And so, when you're sitting there going through the thing, you're sitting there going through the things that he did that made you say that. What else is there? He was there all the time for the games. But what else made him nail it? Is there? Because those are the things that I aspire to do. And I was convicted when you said, I don't know how many times I've told my girls, Daddy is tired, I can't. I just can't.
It's tough, right?
It's tough, bro.
Yep.
Come home, it's 6 o'clock, I'm wore out, I'm spent, I'm staring at the sheetrock, and my kids are bouncing off the walls. Dad, let's go outside. I'm like, I cannot tonight.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Yeah.
And I just felt some conviction.
I mean, I have too.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged. Like,
Yeah.
that right there. Put that down.
Put it down.
It's that is an inner demon that we fight at our house more so than anything else. And
The phone. He's talking about the phone.
Sorry, guys. The phone.
That's okay.
Put your phone down.
Put your phone down.
One of the biggest things, Dad, too, like respect. Instilling that in our children, and yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. That was.
How did he instill that in you?
Sometimes if you said, huh.
Backhand?
Yeah, not necessarily right away, but you just wouldn't get a response. Or, I beg your pardon? Huh? Sorry? Sir. Yeah. And, we do it with our kids. And like, still to this day, like, Davis, like, man, still, huh? Yeah. Sorry, what? But then it is so rewarding when you go to a teacher conference or you just run into a friend, one of his buddies' moms or dads, and they say, man, he's respectful.
Wow.
So, okay, we'll tolerate you not doing it at home and frustrating mom and dad, but if you're getting it right when it counts, you're getting it right, dude.
I really feel that really hard because, like, they can act one way around me and, okay, like, watch it, but that's it right there. Like, going out and at school and just, like, making me proud. Like, because, my kids act totally different around other parents than they do mine.
Yeah,
100%.
And they're like, oh, she's so sweet. I'm like,
we talking about the same thing?
that's right.
I say it all the time. My kids are little demons at home, but out in public, people are like, you have the greatest kids ever.
But that's
I'm like,
it.
Bro, that ain't the same kids.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
But, that's where it counts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's our job, right? Raising up our arrows, in the quiver. And that's good.
Actually, two others that came to mind on that. One, my wife. I'm not running for a political seat, or I'm not doing anything on the HOA board without my wife's support. And she is a backbone. And she's picked me up multiple times when I've been down or gotten discouraged.
She's a cheerleader.
She is.
Yeah.
She's a good one.
Talk about that. How does she do that?
She'll fire back at me with, if I'm down, she brings positivity to light. There were some, a couple others qualified to run against me, and one kind of threw me for a loop, and I was like, dadgummit, Nathan, you got this.
You start saying, no, I met her not.
Yeah. But just across, I mean, just the positivity she can bring forth towards me on a bad day, or, hey, it's our 15th wedding anniversary, honey. What do you think about me running for county commissioner? Well, you've been talking about it for 4 years, doing it in 4 years. Well, let's go. Just do it. I was like, man, all right.
That's good.
Yep.
Jeremy, I think when he told me that he was going to run, is what he said. He said, I'm not running for commissioner. We are running for commissioner. Mm-hmm. He said that to me. Like,
about his wife.
About his wife.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He said, I'm not running for commissioner. We're running for commissioner.
Well, that's good because you know that, you are one, you and
We
your
are.
wife. And so she completes you. I know mine completes me, but that's pretty good. Yeah. And the fact that she is your cheerleader, and look, this is a show that we can be honest on. And sometimes as a man, we feel like we're getting down, right?
Yeah.
And she's there to pick you up.
Yep.
So that's good. Kudos to her.
Yep.
It was Courtney, right?
Yes.
So thank you, Courtney, for picking my man up over here.
Right on.
Keep doing it. And, I'm sure she'll listen to this. And, she needs to know that that you appreciate that for sure. And I know she will.
And the comment I'll get when she listens to it is,
Why'd you do that?
God, you sound like a redneck.
Well, you can be a redneck. It's okay. That's good. Who else?
So one other guy, and man, if he watches the podcast, I'll never hear the end of it. But good friend of mine, Shannon Glover. I have never seen anybody with more integrity and more hustle and more want to. Like, I mean, he is proof that you work hard towards something that you want, you'll get it done. And he's just always, I mean, when I'm around him, it's like, man, this guy's got drive.
So give me the history with Shannon. Is he your friend?
Yes,
cousin?
he's a friend of mine, and we actually met probably around 2007, 2008, tailgating at a Georgia game. And since then, I mean, we've always tailgated together, done some vacations, but just him and his wife, great people, and his hustle to, I guess his drive towards, retirement's a big thing. Like, right? You don't have I've heard too many times of people retiring and having to go back to work,
Yeah.
And we're pushing hard, like, hey, when we retire, let's retire. And, I mean, his drive and his hustle and his work ethic is just something to be, in my opinion, is something I strive towards.
So he's impacted you in such a way that he's encouraged. I mean, you watching his example has given you some courage and ambition and some fuel.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. But have you ever let him know that?
Nah.
You should.
Yeah.
You should call him.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, he's definitely going to hear this.
No, y'all don't know Shannon. I'll never hear the end of it. Hey,
Well,
man, I didn't
Shannon
know
Glover, for whatever it's worth, you've been an inspiration to my boy over here. So you keep going, my friend.
He better receive it too.
Yeah. Receive that.
He'd be the one, though. You call me hero anytime, Nathan.
Okay, cool.
Humble pie, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, have you ever had, in a lot, I mean, you don't, and by the way, I'm asking these questions. You don't have to answer them. You can say I passed, but has there ever been a setback that happened that you would want to share that you feel like fueled any ambition in you? Did you have something happen in your life where you set a fire inside of you to be a world changer, to make a greater impact? Anything that's ever happened to you? Or someone anything that's ever happened that led you to just generate an ambition to make a bigger impact?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that.
We can.
Okay.
Yeah, we can come back to it. All right, so let's talk about stories. I love stories. And me and Daniel talk about on our interview, we always try to give people an opportunity to tell a story, clean stories that people can hear.
Yeah.
But do you have a story you want to share with our audience?
So and names are gonna
hold the names.
Stay out of this. But, man, and this is we kind of made a negative impact here, but we corrected it.
Okay.
We got dispatched to a fire call.
Okay.
This has been 5 years ago probably, and it was after midnight. And we got dispatched, house in town, and they had been boiling some nipples for baby bottles. Had them on the stove and forgot about them. Of course, all the water boiled out. Those nipples hit the bottom of the pan and started melting, and it smoked out. Set the smoke detectors off. House got smoky, kitchen and all. So we went and we set up, had to set up ventilation, put fans to ventilate the house. And we're standing in the kitchen of this house, about wrapped up, and one of the guys I work at the fire department with, just say pass gas, and so we're laughing and snickering, just like any grown man would do, you know, when he's with his buddies.
Right.
Well, the homeowner came around the corner and she saw us laughing. Didn't think anything of it. And she started asking for some names and snapped a couple pictures. Well, we didn't think anything of it. We loaded the fire truck up and everybody's fixing to leave to go home. And our chief at the time was like, "Hey, I need everybody to go to the station."
Oh no.
We're like, "What the heck? What the heck's going on?" So we all go to the station, and they're like, "Guys, what were y'all laughing at? Like, this lady's fixing to just bash the fire department on social network because y'all were standing in the kitchen laughing." Like, we're like, "No, Chief, like, this is what happened." He kind of laughed and he said, "All right, I'll be right back." So he went back to the house and told the homeowner, like, "Hey, this is what happened." Like, they weren't laughing. And she was like, "Oh man, that happens to everybody. I'm so thankful you came back to let me know, because I mean, tragedy averted for the fire department, right?"
Oh yeah.
So, but again, the takeaway right there is compassion. You don't know. Me and you might be laughing about something, or me and another firefighter might be laughing about something in a situation that we shouldn't be. Not that something's not funny, but those that are in need right there at the time,
Not funny to them.
not funny to them.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like compassion comes in across the board. But it was one of those things, like, everybody was gonna laugh.
It was just a joke to everybody at the time, but she didn't think it was.
Nope.
And she thought that y'all were giving her a hard time, and so she let somebody know, and it's good for the chief to go back
Yes, absolutely.
and handle it.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a real life story of where where compassion did in fact change the I guess the end result.
Right.
So that's good. Any other stories along the way? Leadership stories or?
Not really.
Okay. So if
That we need to talk about.
I got you, yeah. Well, there's definitely some stories, but we shouldn't share all. Okay, so if I told you that there was one thing that you could share with everybody in the audience, based on the one thing you could share with anybody, what would it be? And that would be about anything: life, family, marriage, leadership, just something that you felt like you wanted to share, get off your heart, tell your fans or your enemies or whoever. You could just say whatever you want.
Give me that question again. Sorry.
If there was anything that you could share with the whole world, what would it be? Just one thing that you could share. You got a lot of notes on that paper over there,
Yeah,
Nathan.
Yeah.
And I know we haven't said all that stuff. And we'll go back and clean this part up, so we're good.
No, you're good. There's one thing: live life to its fullest potential.
Oh, nice. Let me write that down. So life is short. When Danny Harrell came and talked to us, I talked about the fact. You remember when he was at church? You may have been there that Sunday. He took the water bottle and he sprayed it.
Yeah.
And he said, "Life's a vapor."
Yeah.
And out of James. Well, I said we were going to go back and talk about that. We never did. No.
Yeah.
But what you just said made me think. Live life to its fullest.
Yeah.
That also makes me think about how precious life is. And how short.
It is, and that's one thing. Like after 2010, that's something that I mean, look, like Courtney, if we want to travel, let's go. Tomorrow's not
Promised.
Mm-hmm. Let's go. Same thing with my kids. Like, yeah, we want to save and want to make sure our children have a nest egg and they're taken care of. But 20 years from now, 30 years from now, something happened to me, I want my children to be able to say, you know what? He might not have left $1 million. We're okay, but we had a good time.
There's a lot to be said about that right there. Because oftentimes we get chasing the world and we chase money.
Oh, yeah.
We chase things that we shouldn't be chasing. When you got to slow down and just realize that the things they're going to take with them is the memories that you make, right?
Yep.
And focusing on that is a whole thing in and of itself.
That's right. Experiences.
Experiences.
Handing them out. Hand out them experiences because you only get one chance at raising your kids.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Like I'm guilty of that too, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of not taking my kids on a family vacation because I'm working,
Right.
building a company,
Right.
or whatever. But we don't have the funds for a $10,000 trip.
That's right.
No.
You know, we don't have the funds for even a 5,000. I mean, you can't go anywhere without spending $5,000.
You can't leave your house and not spend $100 right now.
I know it.
I mean, if you go out the door, you're spending $100 bill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easy.
Yeah, but you think about taking your kids on a vacation and the not doing that. What is the consequences of that?
Right.
You're not living life with them. You're not experiencing life with with your kids. They remember that, and so we got to do better on that. But yeah, live life till its fullest.
Slow down, Jeremy.
Yeah, I do.
Slow down.
That's good, Dan.
I got you.
I need to do that.
I'm going to ask you again next week.
Thank you. I like it.
Plan that trip.
Yeah. All right. So we talk about intentional living and leadership in order to make an impact and leave a legacy. So is there anything that prepping for this show has created something for you to look at? Has there anything that, because I mean, you did some prep, you got some notes. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you'll take away from this experience? And if not, it's okay. But
No, being able to talk out, and talk through the, especially like, man, talking about my kids, talking about my dad, talking about my wife, like
that's good.
that's who I'm most proud of. So why not be able to brag? It's good stuff.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it's been inspirational for me as the interviewee over here, just hearing you talk about your dad. When you said he nailed it, it's just like, man, I hope my kids say that about me.
Yeah.
But they're not right now, I'm telling you. They're not, because I haven't nailed it.
And we had that intimidation as children, right? Like, if we did something wrong, and I got in a lot more trouble than my siblings did, but, always going to mom because we thought we would get off a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And in some situations you did, but in some, it wasn't a fear. It was more of, I don't want to let him down if I did something wrong. But man, as I got older, and I mean, it probably wasn't until I was 18, 20 years old, like, he wasn't hard to talk to. He was actually easier to talk to. I probably could have made it better on myself if I, waited till a Saturday to talk to him instead of after a 10-hour day at work.
Yeah.
So, but he did. Like, I strive to be like that man every day.
Wow.
So
That's good, man. I don't have any boys, so I have girls, so they're never going to say that. But I hope that maybe my son-in-law at some point I can build a relationship and he can say, man, I'd like to be. That's part of our legacy.
Right.
And so, I mean, when you talk about the legacy that you leave and leadership and intentional living and all that stuff and the impact, it all comes back to, it sounds like your dad had a profound impact on you. And so you have passed that down to your kids. And then, they need to do the same for theirs. Did you go to the men's conference the other day
I
at
did.
our church?
I did.
So, no, you know what? It wasn't at that. I went to a real momentum thing the other day at Fusion Church.
Okay.
It was Saturday after our stuff at Covenant Park. But there was a guy there, and I don't remember his name. I wish I could give him credit. But he said something there that I want to share on the show because it was wonderful. He said that when his kids are coming up, they're growing up, and he said one thing that he's always made a point to tell his kids is 3 things. Number 1, I love him. I love you. Talking to his kids, I love you. Mm-hmm. Okay. Number 2 was I'm proud of you. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I've told my kids I love you and I'm proud of you. We all do that.
Yeah.
But the third one got me. He was told his kid one more thing. And I was like, and he said, I'm going to tell you what it is. And he said, I'm proud to be your dad. And I thought, wow, think about that.
Yeah.
Now, my daddy used to tell me he was proud of me. My daddy was a good dude too, and he's passed away in 2020. And we won't get into talking about me, but long story short, he always told me he was proud of me, and he was my biggest fan. I told everybody, Dad was my biggest fan. He always cheered me on. He made me feel better about myself when I didn't feel good, all those things. But he actually told me, I'm proud to be your daddy one time. And it didn't.
Awesome.
It didn't resonate what the power in that.
But you remember it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I didn't do it to my kids. But I did whenever so I started telling my girls that.
Yeah.
And I went down the other day to wake so this was just a few weeks ago when I learned this. And I actually went downstairs, I was waking my daughter up to go to school. And I told her, I leaned over and I said, I'm proud to be your daddy. Man, that girl she got up and hugged me, and I was like, that is powerful.
Wow. Yeah.
You got to tell your kids that you're proud to be their daddy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You need to use that.
I will.
And I want all the audience to hear me say that, because being proud of someone is one thing, but being proud to be their daddy is a whole nother level, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And when your kids hear you say that, and I even wrote it down and put it in their lunchbox, because it gives them a sense of pride, maybe, but it would be like you going and telling your wife, I'm so proud to be your husband.
Right.
Dude, that's a different kind of feeling
Yep.
than saying I'm proud of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so anyway, look, Nathan, we're talking about leadership here. I'm getting all sappy over here, but I'm just thinking you struck a chord
Yeah.
talking about your dad. And that to me was powerful. So, make sure and tell your kids that you're proud to be their daddy.
I like that.
I
Yeah.
do too.
Thank you for sharing that.
I do
Yeah.
too. And I think I missed it a little bit ago. One of the most fulfilling things is, to me, any sport Davis has played, I've coached since he started. And when you're at the Mexican restaurant or at Walmart, and one of the a kid that you coached 4 years ago, hey, what's up, coach? Man, how are you? Like, to me, that is like, okay, how cool one day if, a child that you made a impact on was giving a speech, and it's like, man, Jeremy Melton, he got me in a spot when I was down, man. I heard this Impact podcast, and
Oh, yeah.
How cool.
Yeah.
That's what a way to leave your mark. In my opinion.
Well, that's what we're after.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
And whether we do it internally or we lead someone else to doing that, that's what the show's about.
Yeah.
But when you start talking about the family, really got to start there. And so, and Nathan, I admire your willingness to share about your family, because oftentimes we're talking about business, and we talk about church, and we talk about fire departments, and we talk about all kinds of different facets of life. But really and truly, you got to come back and zero in on your family and your kids. And that's the most important thing. And so I just appreciate you bringing it up,
Absolutely.
and talking about your family like you have, because a man that holds his family near will and never compromises that is a leader enough, know? And I think it's awesome that you want to spend so much time on that, and then that's kind of what it's turned into. But hey, that's what it's all about. No, it's good.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, one thing, man, and I wrote it down and I missed it earlier. To me, I think I'm not sure of the TV show. But it's got Jason Sudeikis. Courtney had showed me the clip.
The soccer team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it?
No. Ted
Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
I don't know. I'm lost.
There is, it's TV show. I haven't watched the show, but there was one clip. He's playing darts with an Englishman, and
Darts.
Yeah,
Okay.
like they're throwing darts, and they had a bet, and he said, people had doubted me all of my life. Oh wow! And I was taking my kid to school one morning, and I saw a quote. I think it may have been Walt Whitman. It said to be curious, not judgmental.
Wow. That's good.
That's deep.
It's good.
Man, like, coming from somebody who has judged people, and we've all been judged, but be curious, not judgmental. So,
I think that goes directly back to where we started with Mr. Nate here, in that he leads with compassion, being curious instead of judgmental. That's who this man is.
Good.
Like, he is, like, be curious always.
There's some power in that. So I have a coach that I get look, I'm so messed up. I have to pay a coach to coach me. Okay, I do. I pay a personal coach, and they told me that one time because I was talking about a scenario that I had found myself in, and I was just ranting and raving, being stupid most of the time. And she said to me, I have two coaches, by the way, but she said to me, well, you're not being very curious. And I was like, what? I'm not going to be. And then she said, no, slow down. You got to be curious. And there is some real horsepower there.
That's right.
there it is.
Yeah. Being curious. And that's not in your nature, okay? That's not in your flesh nature anyway.
Nah.
Being curious is very powerful. And most strong leaders, most really great leaders are curious.
Yeah.
You'll notice that about them.
Right.
They'll ask questions.
Is that one of the mandates? Curiosity?
It is. It's. I don't know that it's said like that, but yes, I have a whole write up on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was taught that
Yeah.
by my coach. This was a while back, but she called me out on it, and I was like, at first I was like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But she was right. You got to be curious.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about that, or it's like, just take like a disgruntled neighbor.
Where was that quote at? Like on the school board, or
Man, like Courtney was at a seminar a couple months ago with the school, and I think it was in the whatever the speaker was speaking about for that, like had that clip in there. And she got home and showed it to me, and of course, AI, because we had talked about it, it showed up in my Facebook newsfeed the next day, and
Right.
I'm watching it, and I'm like,
wow,
that's some good stuff,
dude.
You should watch some Ted Lasso
I don't.
inspirational speeches. Just look it up on YouTube or something.
Y'all have to share that with me later.
He's a comedian and he's a coach, but it's good stuff.
Okay.
It's very inspirational and entertaining and funny
At the same time.
Okay. Yeah, it's good.
Cool. I like that. So that's a cool quote. Being curious. That's something that you have to be reminded of, to be intentional about. Because again, it's not in your nature, at least not in my nature. I have to force myself to do those types of things.
100%, and that goes all the way down to, hey, such and such came into work today. They're having like, God, he's not doing his job, like judging them. It's where everybody's going to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of going,
Wonder what's going on.
hey man, let's go grab some lunch.
Wow.
That's right. Talk to me.
That's right. Get him talking. Ask him questions.
Tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
That's
That's good, Nathan.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's something to hang your hat on right there. If you can do that and really hear people. We did a Bible study one time at our church recently, Louis Giglio study. Just a seat at the table or something like that. But Louis Giglio sits down at the table and he's on the stage and he's teaching, but he's got a glass of water, and he pours the cup, and he's sitting at the table as if he's Jesus. And there's an empty chair on the other side, and he says, "How are you doing?" And just having a glass of water. But he's intentional about looking into the eyes of the person, and goes through like hearing, listening, asking questions, being curious, and just talking to somebody. When you, like you said, put these demonic phones away, put the phone down, and be intentional about the relationship that you're in.
100%.
They're strong, and being curious. Yeah. It's good. Anything else to add to that?
No, you hit on my notes. My notes over here, and I'm trying not to really go back and look for it because again, my dad. I was speaking one time, and I was like, "Golly, speaking in front of a bunch of people, like it's tough." So what do? He goes, "Don't read from a piece of paper. Get up there and talk.
Just talk.
Just talk."
Yeah.
So
That's good.
But then you get out there and you see everybody in your mind just goes blank.
You need to read that paper.
Man, I wish I had a piece of paper right now.
Well, I think you're practicing right now.
Oh, yeah.
This is good.
Oh, yeah.
This is good. We're talking. We got him talking.
Yeah. Anything else, D?
Man, so much. Speaking is learning.
Yes, it is.
Curiosity is cool. Compassion. He's a, what did he say? His leadership style?
Adaptable.
Adaptable.
Yeah, I like that.
We're going to dig into that some more.
So Davis is 10. So being adaptable, I mean, dude, there's a lot to be said on that too. Like, when you think about being adaptable, how easy it is to want to just go with the norm.
Right.
And respond, not react, but respond in a way that you ought to, instead of maybe the way, or rather respond in a way that you think you should rather than the way you probably ought to. I guess being adaptable is a whole nother level of leadership.
Got to take a deep breath, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's there's a lot to that. Even today, Davis's BB gun practice. He pulled a shot. The coach was like, "Man, take a deep breath, relax." You get blindsided by something in a leadership role, like, don't go haste. Sit back, take a deep breath.
That's good. Don't react.
Nope.
Respond.
Yeah. And there's been a couple different circumstances that I've been in where it's like, you're just getting blistered, chewed out. It's like, hey man, let's talk tomorrow. Let's take some time to analyze from both sides and let's talk tomorrow. Like, nothing ever gets accomplished in a shouting match.
That's easier said than done.
100%. Guilty.
Guilty as charged. I like what you said earlier. Guilty as charged. I'm guilty of that.
Me too.
So Davis is 10 and Lucy
Wren.
is 6. Okay.
She is, y'all should have her in on the podcast one.
We talked
We
about doing a kids
We're going
episode.
to.
We're going to.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we're going to bring the kids in and just like interview them.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, I'm gonna tell y'all something now. We won't be able to accept anything that my daughter says, because anything can come out of her mouth. I mean, no, I'm just kidding.
Never a truer statement at my house either.
Yeah, they're gonna tell you like it is.
No, let me sit in on that one when it happens.
Yes,
please.
sir. Yes, sir.
That'd be awesome.
Yes, sir. We'll have an audience. We'll need an audience.
Yeah. We'll have to have an audience, and then we'll have to edit everything, like a lot of stuff out. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble.
Sorry, Danny.
No, you're good. You're good. I've already got the whole vision put together. It's just gonna be little mini episodes. It's
I
gonna
love
be
it.
great.
That is gonna be good. I can't wait. That's coming soon. So
That's I tell you, I'll pay a compliment to Danny right here, man.
Do it.
with his watching him be dad over here is
yeah,
pretty good thing to watch.
it's convicting to me also.
Yeah. It's like, stop doing it so good, Danny.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't hold a candle to Danny's fathership, but it is encouraging. I told him the other day, he's special to me, but I can call Danny. I've been having a rough day. You talk about a cheerleader, your wife, Courtney, picks you up. He picks me up, and but watching him raise his kids and the excitement that he has with his children is inspirational.
Man, it's it's tough some mornings where it's like 7:15, 7:30, they're out waiting for the bus and like, man, I'm not awake. He's like, hey buddy, how are you? I want to be like, in an hour.
Yeah.
I'm not awake yet.
Well, that's an amazing compliment. Thank you, guys. I love you guys.
Well, it's real, Danny. It's encouraging that you're excited about life, and I know that your cup gets empty. I was telling somebody, I'm not naming names. I know that my cup gets empty,
Oh yeah.
and when when it does, I have to refill it, because if I don't refill it, then I'm emptying everybody else's cup.
Right.
And so, you want a full glass overflowing, and you have to figure out what makes that inside of you. And oftentimes it is people.
Right.
Sometimes it's not, but you're responsible for being full.
Yep.
So whatever fills you up, find out. And if it's a person, then let them know. I told Danny, I said, dude, bro, you encourage me, so keep doing it.
100%.
Yeah. So what else we got? Anything else?
That was great.
Yeah, man, I think
Let's get it.
we're going to start going downhill now if we keep talking.
Let's get the district. Let's get the district.
Well,
man.
Let's win commissioner for sure.
100%.
Yeah, so that you can continue to lead your family and lead the community and serve in all the ways that you can serve. You got my vote for sure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I told you that. And then, of course, we're going to pepper some of this stuff into our Impact podcast, and, we'll get some of the Facebook stuff going. But you got my vote, and if anybody has any questions, I want to tell them you're down to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. That's well, since you hit on that, it's one place where I do struggle at right now. And then
I'll
let y'all wrap it up.
Talk about it.
You get repeated. Again, we talked about the demonic cell phone.
Oh, yeah.
Or the demonic email, in my opinion, too. Like, it is so easy for somebody to get behind the keyboard, send their opinions, ask their questions, and it's been very frustrating. Somebody reaches out with a question. Hey, here's my phone number. Call me. Let's talk about it. We can go get a cup of coffee. Talk, but man, folks don't want to.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You're not going to know who a person really is through Facebook Messenger.
Right.
You have a conversation. Get out. Be transparent. Get to know them. You can't physically build a relationship with everybody in District 5. No.
Right.
You would spend the next 4 years doing nothing but just meeting people.
Right.
But you need to, folks need to meet me. Folks need to get to know me.
Sure.
If I'm going to be representing them. And, that's important to me.
Yeah.
To know what kind of person I am. You're not going to know that through an email.
I love to say it. This show right here is going to reveal some stuff about you that nobody else knew. I didn't know, but your values with your family are enough, and some of the things that you've said today are an indicator to me that you're qualified to do the job.
I appreciate that.
And so I admire you for coming on and doing that. That's not what this show's about, but hey, why not share it? Because, we want people to see it. So thank you for sharing.
Yes, sir.
D. Brown, you good?
I'm good.
Signing off.
Yes,
Jeremy?
sir.